I'm going to call the meeting to order. There is presently a quorum present. We do have 7 members. 5 here present in the room and 2 online.
We have 3 online now.
So we have 3 online. Who showed? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Where the hell did that go?
Sorry, I joked.
It was just
giant.
Glitched out. I will tell you, I've been talking to them. Oh, Joe came in. All right. Some reason. Disappeared. All right. So. We have 8 then. Of the 11. Who's not here as of now?
I think it's Mark, Cindy Beauregard, and Stacy Moore.
That would be correct. There we go. All right, so first order of business, approval of minutes from 8/19/25. You should have received them by email along with some corrections. Committee members. Moved by Bill Hull. Is there a second? Second. By Peter. When I got different Peter Coffey, right? Any discussion or additional additions or corrections to the minutes? Catherine, in the copy ahead of us, those include the corrections?
No, I will add them in.
All right.
They
Okay.
were most of them were very minor.
Right,
The major ones, if you want me to read them.
Were they sent out?
Yes,
the ones you submit to the city clerk will include that,
yes, definitely.
okay.
So no need to read them. Here we go.
Yeah, we got the email.
We got it. So we don't need to read them.
Right, no need to read them. Any other additions, corrections, deletions, questions? Hearing none, just a reminder, meeting is recorded, all votes are by roll call. So, we'll do the online people first. Christine, on the minutes from last month, Christine.
Yes,
Joe DeLucia,
Yes,
Sheila Hayes,
yes,
present in the room, Greg,
Yes.
Peter Procco, you weren't here, so you abstain.
yeah,
Okay. Peter got there.
Yes.
Bill Hull.
yes,
Myself, yes. 1 abstention. Is there any public comment? Do we have some members of the public in the room? Is there any public comment? This is Heather Harris, 32 Page Street. I remember that name.
You remember the address? Mike remembers the address too.
certainly.
So, as Mark and Mike are aware of, a tree came down from the Greenville project on my property. The tree was slated for removal. The following week, which is this week, it came down last Tuesday. My argument is that I don't feel that the city would slate a tree for removal if it wasn't their responsibility. Eric Fontaine from Downs showed up and he accepted full responsibility. Again, Mark and Mike were there for that. He said that he would have a crane there by the end of the week. And the next day, Mike called me to tell me that not their responsibility, not the city's responsibility, well, it's certainly not my responsibility. I still will argue and I'll continue to get a lawyer and continue to see, because that tree is the city's responsibility. They slated it for removal, it needs to be taken care of.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public wise regarding the school building project? Anyone else? Anyone else? There are none, I'll conclude public comment. So next order of business, introduction, a new school building committee member. Peter Procco. All right, a lot of you already said hello to Peter. Peter, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell them about your background and stuff.
Okay, well,
You don't have to stand. Unless you want to. He might
this is
have-
what I look like.
Mark Kulos just came in.
My name's Pete Rocco. I'm a longtime Greenville resident. I am a self-employed electrical contractor since 1978. You're just getting good at it. I had as many as 14 employees in my height in the 80s, the 90s, and now I'm in my 70s and I'm still working this because of other trades. I also held a major general contractor's license for years, which I suspended because there's no need for me to pay the money to pay the competitive. I run in the Greenville section of town, the NRZ. I've been president of the NRZ, 25-year member. Very active in the Greenville area. As a contractor, I worked for the Norwich Board of Ed for years. I believe we had at the time 13 schools, 13 buildings. Worked for Bill Jesuit, and I don't know if you're people familiar with him. Great guy to work for, and as time went on, we parted ways. Nothing wrong, just things were done. My company was instrumental in the cameras in the school system. The first ones after Sandy Hook. Billy came to me and said, for $2,000 a school, I want you to put a design security system locking doors. And the irony of the thing was that when I go to the school PTO meetings, the specific schools, they'd say to me, "Oh, how dare you think that would be in our school?" So I put them in, and people got so used to them and liked them so much. If there was a problem, it was just the opposite. They get angry at me because I couldn't get there fast. So, I'm familiar with the schools. They used to do a lot of construction and maintenance for them. I was there today myself and so we're told that they're tearing down. We wasn't happy about that. And I'm here to observe tonight and learn and see what we can do. Like I say, my expertise is electrical. Been an E1 for forever. So that's it. I thank you very much. Easy to find, and that's that.
Thank you, Peter. I'm hoping your experience will be valuable. Certainly in the trades, and that's something that we kind of needed here. Our resident SME on the committee, with subject matter expert, moved to the Carolinas to be close to the family after his wife passed. So certainly welcome you here. I'm glad to see you here. And Pete for a while, and he's always been super pleasant to deal with and good all around that, as far as I know.
Thank you.
So, all right, we'll go right into reports. CSG. See if I can find one here.
Does everyone have a copy of the packet?
There you go. Got a bunch of files in them.
You sent them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to download them off my email. Okay. Hey, Cindy. Where are we opening?
9/16/25. 140 programs in states.
Okay. All right, let me the shares. I'll note that Mayor Nystrom is here with us online. Come on, you. All right. Did the people online see the program update page?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay,
I can.
All right, so the first slide in your packet is the phase one projects, Greenville and Stanton. Accomplishments from the past 30 days, we've been attending OIC meetings, pre-install meetings with Downs, DRA and DRA. We did a presentation at the Norwich Public School Staff Convocation on August 26th. That was pretty well received. I want to give a little credit to the Stanton community that showed up in the groundbreaking hard hats, and that was definitely a really cool to see. I will say that I think the most excited group is probably teachers middle school for the new work versus the level of excitement that I saw for the others. So that was also exciting. We reviewed a bunch of invoices for approval. We've worked with Norwich Public Schools on a school construction website update. Unfortunately, Tim Smith from my office is working on the school construction website update, so I won't be able to give you guys an update as to what we're doing, but a lot of information from convocation, a lot of other presentations that have been publicly delivered that'll go up on the website. You'll have an individual link for each school, and you'll be able to click and see information. Monitored third-party inspection services, contract for compliance. We transitioned to the new materials testing firm at Stanton, which is now the same materials testing firm that's at Greenville. We completed the procurement and delivery of the propane tanks for the portable classrooms. Those have now been installed for connection by Downs, which may have actually happened last week. I believe it was one of the buildings was being connected. Worked with the city staff and Downs on resident complaints. As you heard, we had the tree at 32 and 38 Page Street that we're continuing to work through. Upcoming activities for the next 30 days, continue to review site activities, document activities via the daily logs and weekly reports you guys are getting, doing change order review meetings as needed. And at Stanton, we're getting close to the ceremonial beam sign. So basically just to inform everyone what's going to be happening, that it's called a topping off ceremony. It's typically ceremonial that it's the highest beam on the project. In the case of a school, it's very challenging to try and position the very highest beam in place versus the school calendar and schedule. So we've delineated an area, a beam in the building, which will still be exposed. You may need to go to a back of house area to see it. The beam will be delivered to the site, painted white. All the students from the school will be able to go out and sign the beam. So I also want to extend the invitation to the school building committee as well as any dignitaries from the city that may want to come out and sign it as well. We'll be sending emails out to alert everyone when they can get down there to sign it. And then ultimately we'll be planning a ceremony for the installation of the beam. I will let everyone know that ceremony will be, probably in early October, I believe is what it was. But as the plans get closer, we'll be in discussion with you. The unfortunate part about the beam signing ceremony is that as the beam needs to get erected and installed in place, we won't be able to entertain an off hours ceremony. So the beam signing ceremony would have to happen between 7 and 3:30 in the afternoon. When I say 3:30, I mean the beam would have to be installed by 3:30. Otherwise, we'll have to pay these steel erectors overtime for them to stay longer to do that last beam. So when thinking about the ceremony, just keep in mind, unfortunately, I know some people work during the day and that are on the committee may not be able to attend. So just wanted to give everyone an update on that.
Mike, no question. You sealed signatures for kids?
They're signed in permanent marker, so the beam is painted white with, I guess they could fade over time, but it won't be clear coating the signatures or not. So there'll be permanent markers. Basically, the beam will, just so everyone knows, if you do come down, once I get the email, and you drive into the entrance of Stanton, you'll see the trailer compound on the left. The beam will be in the trailer compound, moving it there so that it's out of the way, can't get knocked over from stanchions or fall on one, and it's supervised where it'll be, so.
1 second, Mike. Joe DeLucia? You raised your hand?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. So, I'd just like to interject on this whole thing with the beam signing and the topping off. If that's okay? Or do you want me to wait till he's done?
Go ahead, because of the nature of what we, the meeting, go ahead.
Okay, so obviously that's a significant event in the construction of any building. And, again, first, I really have two concerns or issues. It sounds to me like, once again, a unilateral decision by a company that works for us to tell us how this is going to be handling instead of asking us how we want it handled. Number two, it's up to the committee to decide whether we're going to incur the cost of some overtime in order to make sure that everybody who's been on this committee and been working for the last 5 going on 6 years that can be there for this important event. So we don't have to discuss that now, but I would like to raise that as an issue, and I hope we can circle back to it.
Joe, just to clarify, we haven't made any decisions at all, so, if expending the overtime is something that the committee wants to do, to be able to allow the beam signing to happen later in the day, that's more than fine. I was just stating that there would be a cost, and I apologize for the way I delivered that.
Apology accepted. Thank you very much.
Need to attach a fir tree or something.
A fir tree?
That's usual steel work.
Yeah, they most likely tree, usually that's kind of acceptable,
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Hi, Mike.
I don't know if there'll be a tree or not.
It's traditional in steel work. I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
Is there gonna be a tree? Okay, there will be a tree. All right. It hadn't come up as in discussion, so I wasn't informed. All right, flipping the page to the budgets for Stanton. And, one thing that I should have, made note of. We are through pay request number 10 has been approved for Greenville. There was an error on the state Core CT website that forced them to deny payment application. It was nothing with the paperwork that was submitted. State website wasn't totaling correctly, so they denied the request, asked us to resubmit the request. We resubmitted the request, and the state has now approved it. Payment request number 11 has been drafted for Greenville and Stanton. Payment request number 11 went in for Stanton and was approved today, as was payment request 10. Once the city receives money for 10, we'll get 11 that's already drafted and ready to go uploaded to the system for payment. Okay, now moving into the budget. On the Stanton School, current expenditures, $8,427,212.73. On the Greenville School, $6,600,796.77. All right, flipping on to the phase 2 projects, which are the Uncas and Moriarty project. Working group meetings, we haven't had one in a little while now. That's mainly because the construction document phase is ongoing and there isn't a lot of information that's needed at this time as we establish construction drawings. The design team and CSG are compiling information for the first PCR meeting. I'll get into that in just a moment. CSG is working with MPU on information needed to finalize developer agreements. Inland wetlands approval was received at the IWCC meeting on 8/7. Special permit approval was received on the 8/19/25 CCP meeting. The project team has been preparing an early release package for early procurement of electrical gear. So just to provide some context to that, at the last building committee meeting, we had brought up that the design team and construction team were looking at an early procurement schedule for electrical switchgear and emergency generator for the next 2 projects. The reason that we're looking at an early procurement package, this package will be to only order and get the fabrication started on the electrical switchgear the electrical panels and the emergency generator due to the long lead time that those items have. By getting started early, it'll allow us to get the materials ordered and into fabrication and more reasonably remove risk and guarantee that the items are on site when we need them. A component of that is that we need to go to the state to get a review on an early procurement package because the state, through their school construction grant program, will not allow you to go out to bid for items or purchase any items or do any physical construction work until they have reviewed the plans. So what we've been developing over the past couple of weeks is a very condensed version of the plans. It's basically the electrical switchgear, the emergency generator, and panel boards pulled out of the items pulled out, put on new sheets so that an electrical contractor can bid on providing those items to us, only provide now if that same electrical contractor wins the next phase, which will be the building construction work, will be providing those items to himself. If the electrical contractor is different on the second phase than the one that purchased the items, that electrical contractor that purchased them would then turn them over to the electrical contractor that's now working on the job. So we're working through all of that. The documents are nearly ready. At this point, the drawing packages have been distributed to all of the local reviewers for their review and approval. And we're working through all of the secondary requirements that are needed to complete the PCR meeting, which are all those, there's a bunch of signed letters that need to be completed, a uniform cost estimate, drawing. There's a host of different items that you need to provide that we're working through now. Currently, we have the PCR meeting scheduled for October 6th and October 8th. Don't ask me which one is which because they're basically identical and one's going to happen before the other. And then as soon as we get approval for those, ONG will be bidding out these electrical packages to electrical contractors for the purchase only of these items. Further on in the meeting minutes, there's an approval that's necessary from this building committee of the approval of the final plan specifications and cost estimate. I've been working with Mark Poulos to get a special Board of Education meeting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark.
It's Tuesday, the 23rd.
That's what I put it.
6:30 is
Virtual. So we'll be prepared to present those plans and specifications to the Board of Education.
all right. And I guess Amber's been talking to you too to get the plan sent over. Or whatever,
right, when do you-
whatever material.
When do you need the materials? She hasn't sent me an email yet, but they're all ready. I could have them to you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
All
by Friday would be fine.
Okay, and I'll do an action item and the resolution as it needs to appear in the meeting.
Right.
The only difference as it relates to these is that because we won't have a following meeting to this meeting and a following meeting to the Board of Education meeting, we'll have to get the recording secretary for both this committee and the Board of Education to sign those and then get them counter certified by the city clerk.
And yeah, I don't know if it's one motion or two.
It'll be two separate motions. It has to appear separately. with-
Project's gonna be dealt with.
There's another form that I'll need to get your signature on, but by going through the Board of Education meeting, you'll be able to certify it because you're signing off for the full Board of
All right,
Education.
yeah, and then anything I need to sign, you can send
Yeah.
over to Amber or you
Yeah.
can do it live.
Yeah, or I'll just
Sure.
meet up with you somewhere. Get it.
Yeah, whatever.
Sign. All right, Uncas Elementary School, if you flip to the next page, we're gonna go through the budget update really quick. Uncas Elementary School currently paid to date $1,977,144.11. The Moriarty Elementary School currently expended $1,984,374.30. Flipping the page, this is now phase 3 of the program, which is the Teachers Memorial Global Magnet Studies Middle School new construction project and the Samuel Huntington Elementary School conversion to a central office facility. The request for qualifications for architectural design services has been issued. That was issued last week. A pre-bid walkthrough was completed today. We've had about 8 or 9 different firms that attended the walkthroughs at both Teachers and Huntington. Proposals are due from Proposals are due from interested firms on October 9th, 2025 at 2 p.m. And then this next item is for discussion. So within the RFP, I have an interview date tentatively scheduled around this building committee meeting in October, which I believe falls on 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And the RFP states that, but it also is noted that those dates are scheduled to change. So in order to meet that schedule, reviews and scoring sheets from the building committee would need to be completed by the 15th. So that's the Wednesday. The 9th is a Thursday, the week before. That's when the submissions are due through Bonfire to the city purchasing department. After 2 p.m. on the 9th, Bob would typically release the submissions to the building committee for their review and evaluation. By that time, I'll have the scoring sheets established and ready to go for everyone to start scoring. Now, we would need the scoring completed by the end of business or midnight or whatever time on the 15th. And then I would create a tabulation. If we were to follow this schedule, a special building committee meeting could be held to shortlist the firms on Thursday, the 16th. We would all get back together. We would discuss everyone's responses. I'd deliver a bid leveling sheet that showed you the pricing structure. And then ultimately the shortlisted firms could be interviewed at the October 21st, 2025 school building. I wanted to discuss this with everyone, and I can bring this back up again during the new business section because this committee is now charged with a lot more information than we had been charged with previously when we were doing these type of reviews and qualification review packages. So understanding that the meeting may be needed for the meeting and not just to do interviews. And if we were to try and combine both activities, meaning the interviews of the architect and the 3 reports from the consultants and the change order approvals and anything new that may come up at the next building committee meeting that could create a long meeting. It would create a long meeting.
For the special meeting would be something, I imagine we do it virtually and probably do it in executive session.
Yes, and alternatively, what we could do is we could do an executive session at the school building committee meeting and then schedule the interviews for Thursday or the following week. It's totally up to you guys.
Well, I'm thinking, once we score them and we sit down and we meet, we can decide at that point whether or not we're going to put something on the table for interviews or whatever.
Okay,
That's what I'm thinking.
so if we were to stick to that, schedule.
So we schedule a special for the 16th, Thursday
Yeah.
the 16th. So we could do that.
That's the following Tuesday, the first. It's the regular meeting.
The regular meeting is Tuesday, the
I gotta talk to you too. I gotta have a phone call with you about the schedule for next year. I gotta figure that out. I know you sent me the email.
I
but-
sent you everything.
Yeah,
We can talk.
I just, rather than ping pong and stuff. 16th. Yeah, I mean, that's open for me anyway.
Is that gonna give them enough time between the time we announce who we're gonna bring in for an interview and for them to prepare a presentation? From the 16th to the 21st?
Some towns have me do interviews 2 days after they tell us to come to the interview, so I think it's plenty of time.
Well, we could advertise a potential interview from.
The reason that this is as much of an accelerated schedule as it is in order to stay on schedule, we really need to get the design moving. So that's the only reason that I'm accelerating this. It fell a little behind based on the OPM selection. And then we didn't get the RFP draft out until just after we were selected. So then it pushed everything back a couple of weeks. So,
Yeah, and then you get into November,
Yeah.
December holidays.
yeah.
You don't want that. Never gonna be.
So, and right after this is over, we're rolling to a CM probably.
I mean, ultimately, we can make the discussion if we can at least get the special meeting to discuss the qualifications on the 15th, we can make a discussion, I guess.
16th.
The 16th, we can make the discussion at that time as to whether or not when we would want to do interviews.
I mean, that's what I figured.
Yeah, all right.
That'll be the committee.
In new business,
Huh?
we do that in new business.
No, I can set the special meeting myself.
For everyone's information, the RFP is essentially exactly the same as the previous one was. The only difference to this one is that we added a design allowance to it for destructive testing of the Huntington building. So basically what would happen is the architect would, a successful respondent would direct potentially the construction manager. I haven't figured out the reimbursement portion of it, because if you do work prior to PCR approval, it's deemed ineligible immediately. And I'll do the best I can to try and maximize that reimbursement, but this is one of those rare cases where I would say that if it costs 30,000 to do destructive testing and you're not going to get reimbursed on it, it'll pay dividends on the back end. So it would be worth it to eat in an eligible cost to know what exactly is above the ceilings, behind the walls, that type of stuff, so that when the design documents are developed, they're more accurate to what we're doing. I have it written in.
I think it could have some surprise.
Yeah.
I know we've done a lot of abatement there.
The 110-year-old building.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not
we've
even-
done a lot of abatement.
It's not even so much the abatement, it's almost like. In a lot of cases, when you do this renovation work, you run into a masonry wall, there's no structure under the wall. You know, because of how old it was built, things weren't built. In some cases better, in some cases way worse than they're built now. So you just wouldn't want to go into a project like that with all these potential unforeseen conditions that then you have to pay for it through a change order.
I'll just ask anyone, as long as we're on the issue though, does anyone have objections to doing the special meeting on October 16th? Any of the members? Here and none, I'll schedule it as such.
Next page is the school construction program master budget. No changes to the from the master budget right now. All of it is exactly, there hasn't been any movement that warranted any money moving around. The next time that this budget will get updated is when we get through the construction document estimate for Moriarty and Uncas. And then these figures will get updated.
Just a question. I thought it was 601, not 597 for the enrollment of those two schools.
It's 597.
598,
597. was the final one.
597.
the first two, and then 5.
I had it incorrectly at one meeting, and I remember that now that you mentioned that.
That's long, okay, it's 597.
I will verify that through the priority list grant application,
It
but
was just under 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, and the last slide in the deck is the overall program schedule. Sorry about the black and white this time. I printed the whole thing, realized I printed it in black and white. And just
So
couldn't.
the next page was the master budget. Did you want to touch base on that? Super?
Yeah, I think that's based on the master
All right,
budget.
there's no change.
There's been no change to the master budget. It's exactly the same. The next time we will update the master budget will be when we get the construction document estimate from Moriarty and Uncas. And then the next page is the master schedule for the projects. Again, no movement. I did resequence a little bit of the Huntington Central Office schedule to align with the redistricting program, because we need Huntington to be unoccupied before we can start construction, as it's a renovated new project. So
And redistricting will happen in the 2027 year when all 4 elementaries are open.
27, 28 school.
27, yeah, the beginning of the
August
27 school.
August 2027 is when.
Right.
everything will be-
And that's when the redistricting will happen all at once. And we've already redistricted the teachers in Kelly.
Yes,
So those students have
Yeah.
been moved. So it's right sized right now.
yeah. But, you know, I'll tell you, after being as teachers there today for the walkthrough, it felt like there were a lot more kids there the last time I was there before that happened, so. It was. Yeah. All right.
Attendance, attendance has improved, Mike.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, it is great.
All right.
Thank you.
Mike, I do have one question
Yes.
regarding Greenville.
Yes.
What's going on as far as the whole blasting situation?
Downs Construction reported back to me in writing in response to the delay claim that the work has increased in speed. They've blasted a lot more days than they were initially blasting before. I think I don't remember what the statistic was off my head, but something like a possible blasting days, we blasted like 26 or 27 of them. So the speed at which the blasting is happening appears to have increased. The removal of the rock also appears to have increased. They've started construction on the modular block retaining wall. That's going pretty good, but that'll be another item we need to discuss under new business. I'm still waiting to see a formal schedule update based on the changes to the schedule. We did get an updated blasting sequence plan. And overall, we're working through all that right now. I don't have anything concrete to give you yet, just because I haven't seen an updated baseline schedule yet, and all of it is just in text. So,
All right, when you get something put together,
Yep.
please share it with me.
will do.
Thank you.
Well, we've had good dry weather, so.
Well, there's a whole thing with dates and how long, how many days and. So it's
Basically, I can give you an update on it. It didn't look like Downs was going to make the end date for the blasting based on CSG's analysis. We wrote an email, mapped out potentially how long it could take based on the schedule that was going on. Over the past 2-3 weeks, Downs has been working with their site work contractor to try and understand their schedule moving forward and the production on site. It has ramped up over the past couple of weeks, which is a good thing. I mean, we're blasting twice a day, almost every day now, which is much better than what we were doing. We were only blasting 3 days a week on the first week, 2 days a week, the second week, then back to 3, then back to 2. And we kept flip-flopping, and it just didn't look like the production was going to meet the schedule that was shown. We brought it to Downs' attention. They've now responded to that email. Once I have an updated baseline schedule, I'll be more prepared to let you know if there's any more of a schedule impact than what I'm just describing.
It's not just blasting, I mean, the limit really is rock removal after you
part of it.
blast.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
part of
it is, but the rock ultimately just needs to be blasted and moved out of the way so that they can keep going with foundations. So there were a few concerns that we had. Everyone from the design team and myself were down there, so we have been reviewing it week by week with ourselves and Downs. When I have a updated baseline schedule, I'll have more to report.
All right. Thank you. So I have some concern.
Martin, is it appropriate for us to ask about the different messaging was given on the tree?
What different, oh, you mean with the person on scene? I'll just tell you from the appearances, it looks like he was speaking out of school with the best of intentions. I mean, he showed up. I'm not going to fault him because Eric was there. We actually got done, so he responded. But I think he maybe spoke out of turn, so to speak, where, other people would have to be involved, the insurance companies, city, for Downs, all that stuff. And when they started getting involved, that means lawyers and everything else. So at this point, those people are all involved from all parties. So, and that's how it unfortunately is gonna have to get handled. There may be some remediation down the road or whatever they'll work out, but at this point in time, those processes have to play out. So it would be, I'd love to comment more, but unfortunately it'd be inappropriate for me to really do so. Those people have to do their jobs, both for Downs, for the city, for the homeowners, the whole 9 yards. But like I said, it would be inappropriate in this forum. I'll tell you, they met, I know the city side, they met Friday with Mike and me. To talk about this, you know, with the attorneys and insurance and all that stuff, so it's there's a lot of law on this kind of stuff, so I'm not a little bit.
Well, the primary insurance would probably go through Downs.
You're out of my depth, you're an attorney.
Yeah,
You're a
it depends
patent
where the
attorney.
tree is and.
You're a lot farther, you're a lot closer to that than me.
I don't deal in it.
I know you don't, but it's you're a patent attorney.
Yeah.
But still, it's it's, I mean, I have some experience with this stuff, but certainly I would never want to advise them. So I'd let those people do their job and trust that the system's gonna work out, and that at some point, we'll have an opportunity, the city will, or whoever will have an opportunity to make some decisions. Process. Thank you. All right, next, where are we at? DRA. You're up. As you noticed.
So just wanted to quickly report on design team activities across both phase 1 and phase 2. So if you go to the next slide, Mark, starting with Greenville and Stanton, phase 1. In terms of construction administration support, we follow RFI numbers, ASIs, and PR. So that's request for information, architect supplemental instructions coming out from our team, and then proposal requests to respond to some of these issues. It's been active, and right now, main focus has been on structure. So as we look to, we are currently receiving steel shop drawings for the Greenville project, so that's underway. We've already been through the entirety of Stanton, and in terms of erection in the field, I'm sure the Downs team will share, it's moved along fairly well. Both areas A, B are almost fully complete in terms of erection, and then they're moving into area C as of our last site observation. We do produce architect field reports that are multi-page, but just grab some photos there of kind of current activities at Greenville, predominantly site related with the blasting. At Stanton, wide variety of activities, concrete structures, site, etc. Go to the next. A second area that we've been focused in for phase 1. We shared some of this at our last meeting. We had 2 meetings scheduled. This was information from the first meeting where we are looking at interior finishes, colors, materials. So in contrast to the steel being stood, thinking about what the building itself will finish out as. If you go to the next slide, this was that entrance rendering for the Greenville School, giving a sense of the materials that were envisioned last year when we shared this information with you. As you move to the next slide, this is a breakdown of the floor finishes, for instance, colors utilized, patterns utilized, and various materials. These have all been reviewed in concept with administration. Our next meeting with them will be to carry physical samples to the schools next Monday so that they can actually see that. And with that approval, we'll be ready to move this forward because the Downs team is anxious to start getting responses to some of the interior finishes already. If you go to the next slide, this also looked at areas where both we have the wainscot tile above it. We have areas where we do have graphic imagery within the school. You go to the next slide. This was our last meeting as of this week. From this same area, we moved into like toilet cores and corridors, kind of the utilitarian portions of the building. If you go to the next slide, Mark. So within the toilet core, toilet core, all ceramic tile, both the floor material as well as the wall materials, all 4 walls. So hard wearing, very heavy duty, colorful, but very able to take many, many years of use for the school.
Excuse me, excuse me, may I ask a question, Christine, about the tile? So was Matt Brown in on any of that decision-making regarding the tile on the floor?
I believe Matt's with this, but yes, Matt was certainly part of the
Okay,
that were held.
because, what size tile is that on the floor? I'm just curious.
So it's a mosaic tile. It's a 2x2, I believe, for floor finish, and on walls it's 4x4.
Okay, I was just wondering how he felt about keeping it clean with all those grout lines.
It shouldn't be a problem. We have tile in all the schools
Yeah,
right now.
that's why I didn't know if you wanted to go with that, Matt, because I know how difficult it can be. Because,
It's probably one of the more resilient things we could use in the bathrooms.
oh, I know that, but I mean, having the smaller tile versus a larger tile. Because I'm so tired of going in bathrooms at places and the grout's never, taken care of because there's no time or whatever, But I realize what a headache it can be. That's why I'm asking.
This is an extension of a corridor. So we looked at lobby space in our first. This is a sampling of one of the corridor spaces. Again, utilization of linoleum at the entry door areas, creating some feature, trying to modulate the lengths of corridor and offer some variety and color within that space. If you go to the next slide, it shows an enlargement of one of those breakouts. And
Sorry, I'm just saying it's beautiful.
thank you. The leaf pattern through the Greenville changes as you go floor by floor, part of trying to break down the scale of the building and give a sense of place and ownership. This gives a sense of the tile patterning in the corridors where we do not have lockers, so protect it up to a wainscot height, but still, again, providing something that's bright, very durable, many, many years of service expected from it. Next slide. And this is really the package that we're bringing to the school at our next meeting. They've seen the color, they've responded to that, they've responded to the materials, but now to bring physical samples that we'll be able to have a response on. And we're expecting to schedule that for our next Monday's meeting, the 22nd. So have opportunity to be out and share that information. Great, you want to talk furniture fixtures?
Yeah, we spent yesterday, said first time up at Robert Lord in Manchester with Susan, Matt, Rob, and Corey Beckwith from Special Ed side. And we had developed a set of plans with furniture for Stanton all the way through all of the spaces.
Just a correction, Corey, for pre-K. We had her there for pre-K.
That's it. And we had developed a set of plans for Stanton, ran a budget on that to make sure that we fit within the budget that we have allocated for it. And then did a baseline piece of furniture, one step up and one step down. We talked to the representatives for the furniture, had that at Lord, and went up and spent about 4.5 hours somewhere up there, looking at the furniture and sorting through and getting it down to as many as we could, down to 2 choices for each piece. So student desk, student chair were relatively simple. Fortunately, we had Mike with us, who was acting like an 8th grader. And when they said you could not break the chair, he tried to break the chair. You can't break the desk. He tried to break the desk.
Pieces of furniture.
Broke every rule that you're supposed to follow when you're in public. That was perfect. Yeah. So we're aiming for furniture that is will be uniform through the first 4 buildings, that is serviceable by a local distributor and rep, and is durable. Is the type of stuff where 25 years from now, this furniture will be there. If Mike couldn't break it yesterday, no one's going to break it. We will have this, the selected samples delivered down to Kelly for the first week in October, so that staff can go over and have a week to look at it, render their opinions on which one they want. And then we will complete the documents to go up to OGA. So we'll be down past here and the school committee to get a vote, as we will tonight for the early packages. We will then, once we have that schedule, we'll start to work with Frank and his group to coordinate furniture delivery times with completion of the construction. So that we don't want furniture in before punch list if we can help it. But given the times, we'll need to be ordering somewhere middle of Q1 at the latest for delivery and installation in August. We had been informed that we may see some cost impact from tariffs and price increasing at 1/1/27 or 26. We've been since told that that is not anticipated to be enough to make it worth shoving all of this forward. Because we're playing one against the other. If we bought it too early, we might end up paying for storage. And if we waited until Q1 to place an order, we might see a slight increase. The feeling from the distributors is that the cost of storage would be more than the cost of the price increase. So we'll continue on our schedule from where we were before. I anticipate about 98% of what we're going to buy will come off a state contract. So there will be very, very bidding. And our next step on this effort is to sit down and talk with technology department in the schools to make sure we're accommodating whatever the teachers have and whatever administrators have within the furniture that's being suggested. That includes not only the area of the desk, how much space you have, but also things like cable trays and wire routing and those type of things. So we have a nice, neat look when we're all done.
Like my desk.
Can I just add one thing to that? Greg? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Susan, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to add that I spoke with the special education department, Lisa, Dr. Hughes and Beth Hanlon, and I asked them to get a committee together. They're going to be choosing and working with them for all of the specialized programs. So for example, our team program, the team program, Strive program, Ease program. So they will be working with a team of our special education staff to be able to choose that furniture.
And was IT involved too, for like computer parts and whatnot?
No. That's our follow-up with that. Furniture typically doesn't include that type of stuff, and you're not buying a lot of technology as part of the package. So we're mostly concerned with where technology and furniture interfaces given the scope of the technology package that you're purchasing is very limited.
Will it be like electronic whiteboards though in each? part?
That's all, yes, that is part of the basic project.
Those are all non-reimbursable. Okay. Most of the time.
Yeah, somewhat.
The whiteboard, wireless access points, box system, access control, all that part of the contract. So the only things that will really be left to review for technology are servers, Chromebook cards, and that's the way we'll be.
Sometimes there are second grants allowed for that too. Technology.
Gotta be careful with the second. It's allowed for that because it goes back to the so the district planning and using separate grants. I'm not aware of them. That's the direction we're trying to go. Right, is the way we're purchasing. Thinking about pretty soon.
Well, that's why you'll have to connect with the IT.
Yeah.
Because I know the BOE, we've approved technology
Yeah.
grants in the past.
Yeah, I've had preliminary meetings with them, like for other things, like we had a preliminary meeting on utility connections to the buildings to ensure that we were pulling off the right poles and everything. And we started discussing some of this as a precursor to the official meeting generally having. So they're aware of Matt and his team are definitely aware of this.
And we approved the electronic signs outside, right?
The green dome stands.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
part of the change. That was the add-on.
So that's part of the tech pack. Or, I don't know, but it.
The digital displays are also part of the Downs contract.
Okay,
Those will be provided as part of it.
so it's not part of the FFP.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So that wrapped up our recap of Greenville and Stanton Phase One, everything from concrete and steel to interior finishes. For Uncas and Moriarty, regulatory documentation, as Mike had mentioned, we were able to make it to the last meeting. We did receive memorandum, and these are just cover sheets of the memorandum, but things that we'll have to follow up with as we move forward for each of the projects. Next slide, please. In terms of construction documentation, it is continuing. Our target is to be able to have the package available for OGA review. This is a sampling of our three-dimensional computer modeling. What this gives us an opportunity is to look at various trades. So everything from an electrical drop into a plenum space, ensuring that it with structure is able to pass and make its way through. So it's both traditional documentation, but the 3D modeling helps us in our coordination. It's a big part of our activities currently for both Uncas and Moriarty. It was Matt mentioned the enabling package, which is inclusive of generator switchgear, this to help ensure that this gets ahead. So it's everything from specification package to drawing documentation and ultimately information that has to go into the state in terms of their application process. Next slide. For both Uncas and Moriarty, at our last meeting, we touched on exterior material development. If we go to the site plan for Moriarty, focusing here at the main entry point of the building. If you go to the next slide, it gives you a sense of that elevation. So combination of traditional brick, yellow brick, and some metal panel systems. Next slide, please. And then similarly at Uncas, site plan, main point of entry in this zone, looking in this direction. With the next slide, its elevation, again, similar combinations of materials as are being used for Stanton and Greenville. And if we go to the next slide, these are some mock-up panels that are currently at the Stanton site. So it affords us the opportunity to do everything from inspect how the systems go together in the wall and have that as a standard for the project going forward, ensuring that all the overlaps of material work together, that we get proper water exiting the system, and gives us a sample of the skin of the material. And this happens to be a split face block product. In the center, the red brick and yellow brick, the yellow brick with some of its flashed face bricks within it, and a sample for color of the window system set in place. And then from there, and this gives you what's underneath it about a week or two later, being able to have the metal system. And this is not done for color, but rather for assembly for this particular element. So just showing that in progress, because I know we have shown renderings in the past, and now it's actually in the field and something that we can see and touch. And we're excited to see it. We think it's coming together very nicely. And as this finalizes and gets stripped away, it'll be a good element for all of us to refer to. But there will be one of these at each of the sites. We have this one at Stanton, one will follow at Greenville, and for the other two projects.
1 second. Joe DeLucia?
I just wanted to ask a quick question, not too far down in the weeds, but what do you anticipate the metal panel finish material to be?
It's a coated system, Joe. So a paint system ultimately. That system will be the wearing surface in the areas that do have the expanded metal areas. And those are typically held high. They're not too great.
Is that coated steel or aluminum?
It's aluminum. Yes, sir. Did
Yeah,
that answer your question? Joe?
Yeah, right, yeah, that was, thank you. That was the follow-up is, is what's the substrate? So the substrate is aluminum and then it has a multi-part color finish on top of it.
Correct. Similar to the window system finishing. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yes, perfect. I think that's going to look great. Thank you.
Very good.
So that provides a proper thermal break to.
Yeah, that's really part of the assembly, being able to inspect that and ensure both water, air, moisture penetration, separation throughout. And the last slide is just, reminding folks, the idea of these buildings is not only great schools, but also great community elements that can serve beyond the school day. And something that hopefully will be part of your community for many years to come. So that's our report. I don't know if anybody has any further questions for us.
I do.
Go ahead.
You mentioned, moisture and excuse me, the window system, keeping out all those things. What about bullets? I hate to be blunt, but I'm serious.
These days you can't, you have to be.
Mr. Smalley, do you want to talk to? Well, security, blazing, and protection. The question straightforwardly is protection. Speaking.
But we can do the school guard glass at all the entryways, which is it is a glass designed to deflect, it's not bulletproof. It is designed to deform and deflect a bullet to keep it from going through. All of the main entryways and the doors and the windows in those areas. And then as you get further in, the sequence of entry into the building takes you through and puts you in personal contact with somebody through two interior operated doors. So come to the front, there's a camera with a voice connection. You would introduce yourself, be buzzed into the vestibule where you could be seen again. If there is
I'm sorry, are you showing us something now? Because I'm not seeing it.
No, you're just talking.
Okay, just making sure. Okay.
And then the design all the way through that front entry is with the school guard glass. So to minimize that potential.
So when this material was chosen, I mean, you must have seen some statistics on, how good it is, basically, right? How resistant it is for bullets. And what was your findings on something like that?
It has I forget what the rating, how the ratings work on it, but it both tempered and laminated. It will not fall out of the frame. It can be shot through a number of times before it starts to lose structural integrity. It's kind of the standard that the designs have been working to for the entryway doors.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, any other questions for DRA? There are none. Downs.
Or ONG may get to go first.
Are they? Is that what it says?
Yeah, they are.
No, I'm all confused.
I'm sorry, Mark, I've been swapping them.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine.
So I've distributed hard copies of the monthly activity report, as well as an updated pre-construction schedule.
All right, what are you gonna be, what document are you doing? The OMG now. All right, where are the youngest?
The schedule, I can do. Yeah. The one underneath it was the update, which is a relatively swift document, so I'm not sure much needs to be shown there, but for the benefit of those who are attending virtually,
I'll just,
there you go. Okay, so over the last month, as my comrades have spoken to, we have held meetings on putting together this early electrical pre-purchase package. That's been really our effort, and those documents have now been generated, distributed for early review. The documents generally are the one-line drawing of the electrical set of prints and the electrical specifications for the year that we're pre-purchasing. My other activities for the month included updating the pre-construction schedule, which I distributed for you, which I can just hit on the highlights. The key was to pull from the pre-construction schedule the activities that I had included for what was a potential early site enabling package, and instead include the document submission, document development and submission for these early electrical packages. Our milestone dates, the first page of the document, generally haven't changed other than that. So as everyone is aware, construction documents are heavily in development at the DRA camp. We're looking to get to our first eyes on those at the end of October, early November. So we'll move through our process of constructability review and estimate generation for that. There's 5 pages. This particular update, I left all of the activities on there. Sometimes when I produce this schedule, I show only the remaining activities, but because there was a significant change from month to month, I chose to just give you guys the whole document for your reference. And that's about it. You know, what I have going forward in my next month, as CDs come to closure, my site logistics plans come to closure. Looking at the enabling packages, or I'm sorry, the first phase works and the logistics plans to coincide with the completion of the CD. We'll speak more to the construction estimate that was developed and the documents for the early electrical pre-purchase package later in our agenda.
Thank you. So right now, the electrical equipment is the only items that need the long lead time.
Right, as I look to, there are no others. We had concerns or considered the repainted system, which is your stormwater infiltration system. But given the duration that we mobilize to the site and when we actually want to put that work in place, there's no need to early release that.
Thank you.
not doing you, Don? You're not supposed to correct me, Mike. No, I'm only. All right, let's try this again.
Here we go.
Oh, lordy.
You do Stanton first?
Yeah.
Stanton first. So a construction update on the activities that have been taking place over the last 30 days since we met before at Stanton. That's a current photo that was taken this morning. That is the rooftop area of area B with the metal decking down, and the galvanized posts are the start of the roof screening. Yeah, at alternate, and it'll be infilled. Next. Just as a reminder, we are building the building in sequence kind of A to B to C. Area A and B is fully erected structural steel, and it's all about finishing the decking at the roof level and the slabs. Next. That's at the roof area B, looking down at C, the foundation. Essentially complete with this foundation. There's one small area in the background there where it's a retaining wall and the loading dock area associated with area C, but just about complete with foundations on the entire building. Next. That's that last section of retaining wall.
before and after, the footing formed up and it placed with concrete. Next. And just a couple views of the foundation. This is area C looking away from the new addition. And then in the opposite direction from the loading dock area, looking back over at area B in the background. Continue to do under slab utilities throughout the building. That just happens to be an area in C under slab sanitary system. And that's the current state of the building, fully erected. There's quite a bit of decking on it since those two photos were taken. Just another view from our temporary stair tower, looking down from B towards A as the decking is progressing down that building.
Wow.
Decking. Now some utilities, we continue to work on our utilities. If you're not familiar with this plan, the kind of the brownish building in that area is the existing school. And there's our new area C loading dock that you were just looking at. Last month, I told you about the utilities that came in through the existing entrance driveway of the school, and we got just inside the construction fence. Well, we've continued those utilities. So now the electrical primary red line all the way through, we have conduit in place from the new utility pole all the way to our new transformer location. The communication cables are also run from the utility pole and right into the building. And we've started our stormwater system, started with the level spreader, the lowest spot on the site. All the stormwater from the project will be directed by gravity to that area where it's slowly dissipated into the wetlands. Okay. So there's that level spreader. All the water goes through this device. It kind of spins it around and separates and takes the sediment out of the water. And then that large precast concrete structure is a void that holds the water and allows it to slowly dissipate into the wetlands.
Where's the sediment?
Sediment?
Yeah.
In the bottom of the chamber.
Yeah.
Some maintenance report.
Okay, that's.
That's
Answer that question.
just a fancy dry well.
Yeah, fancy catch basin. That's the storm system continuing, typical manhole storm piping being installed on site. That's the electrical primary cable. Everything is encased in concrete, and that's the last run of it where the primary runs into the transformer pad.
I'm digging that up for a while.
Communication duct bank, same running from the construction fence onto the site. Gets backfilled in sand. This is Will Road. There's a lot going on Will Road. Kind of show you the scale of that. Two guys standing there. It's a 14-foot cut from the existing manhole to get down to the bottom where the pipe is going in. There's quite a bit of rock excavation taking place there where we've pre-drilled the rock and currently hole ramming it. They've got a little bit of a temporary retaining wall structure to keep themselves safe. It's been quite an effort during the rock excavation. And as they work their way out from the manhole, they're working safely in a trench box with a ladder, a little bridge to get out to it. So it's a slow process, but they are working their way out of that manhole back into the site.
Is that for the sewer?
That is sanitary sewer, yes, sir. That's it. I know one of the other updates I wanted to provide you was the electrical switchgear. I know, Peter, you were asking about that last month. We have had a couple of meetings with Ian, the manufacturer of the switchgear, and they have improved their duration, procurement duration. It was initially a 52-week duration that was allowing the product to be on site in the middle of June. They've improved that by 8 weeks. They have a current ship date of mid-April right now, and we are continuing to work with them and try and improve it and maybe get it into March. I'm not sure we'll be able to get it much earlier than that, but we did pick up 8 weeks on procurement duration. Happy to report that. Just one quick comment on the beam siding. The ceremonial beam is on site. It's painted white. It's next to our trailer. It's on sawhorse. It's secure, it's safe, and we are coordinating with the school to get the kids to come over and in waves or classes, whoever they're going to do it, the sign and decorate the beam. I think there'll be more decorations and signatures on it. So, and anticipated erection day when we think we'll be ready to install that would be probably the week of October 13th, right in that range, and we can tighten up a day as we continue to progress.
Questions? Stanton,
Thank you.
about Greenville. Electronic one?
I don't know if you do, if you don't, I have it.
This one through.
This is the nicest wall we've ever seen.
Is it?
Beautiful. It's about 10 more courses high from that picture right
Oh,
now.
my God. It's growing.
We got a lot more walls to go.
Yeah, it's on. You would think, huh? No. Freaking I hate Windows 11. It's sticking the quarter down.
Oh, it's 37.
Yeah. All right, we'll get it. We'll keep going.
Man. Yeah, right there.
Let's see, I think it's over.
All right, I'm Kyle Antini, project manager for the Greenville project for Downs. So work completed. Since our last meeting, we've removed more of the overburden on the east side of the site, which was the last section of the site that we had to remove overburden from for blasting. That area will start getting drilled and blasted in the next week or two. We have completed, this says 41 blast dates as of 9/12. We've done 2 more blasts as of today. So we're up to 43 completed blasts as of this moment in time right now. And that's pretty much what we've been doing on site for drilling and blasting and rock crushing and removing rock. So that work continues to be in progress for another probably 2 months before the blasting activities will finish. We are continuing to work through our procurement and submittals for long lead time items. As Chris just said, with the meeting on the switchgear, we are part of those meetings as well for Greenville. So we're following the same path that they are for the switchgear. We don't have quite the schedule constraint as they do, but they are going to be able to make it at the same time in the factories for us. So that's a positive for us. Continuing the MEP coordination process, that's mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, all that stuff getting modeled into the building, making sure it all works with each other, not clashing into each other's systems. It works within wall sizes, things like that. So we're continuing to do that. The 3rd floor and the underground should be complete in the next couple of weeks. The underground is important for us as we start getting closer to concrete foundations, get all the under slab work in, stuff you've seen going on at Stanton already. Drilling and blasting, rock crushing, again, that's continuing. And we have started the modular block wall installation for wall 1A, which is on the south side of the site, down in the southwest corner by the wetlands there. So you might not see it if you pop into the site. It's kind of hidden down there, but there are some pictures following here that we'll take a look at. You guys can see the install of that wall. Work to start walls 1B and 2 for the retaining walls. So right now we are reviewing an unforeseen condition with those walls. There's some unsuitable soils, on the bearing footing for those walls. So we have received a PR from the design team. We've priced it up, currently being reviewed, a couple options there. So we're looking to have that flushed out hopefully in the next week or 2 to continue that work. The additional perimeter tree clearing, that is under further review at this time. Obviously, we had the tree come down, which is a separate issue, but that's under review kind of as a whole at this point, just to make sure things are done the correct way there. And then the pre-install meeting for concrete. We're getting closer to concrete. It's not scheduled to start till the end of October, but we have a pre-install meeting to kind of start flushing out coordination. Any issues the contractor might see or the design team might see, just have a, a conversation about the scope of work, view logistics, all that stuff. So that'll happen in the next couple of weeks as well. Right now, it's scheduled for next week. We don't know if that'll hold yet. We're reviewing a couple of things we're still missing from the concrete contractor, but that definitely will happen in the next 3 weeks. Concrete side of things. Then critical items and milestones. We're continuing to evaluate the schedule and cost from the additional pre-blast surveys. A lot of back and forth on that with the subcontractors. Putting in claims for cost, we have to validate that. So we go back and forth, making sure we have the backup, making sure it makes sense. Guys aren't just coming to us with their hand out for money. So that's continuing. CSG's been involved in those discussions. So that's it for these items. I do just want to touch on the schedule real quick. So you guys heard from Mike earlier, the blasting durations and how that might affect the rest of the schedule. But right now, we are not planning to push the concrete start. It's still going to start as scheduled. What that means is some blasting is still going to occur when the concrete work starts. That work's going to be limited to the outer limits of the site, over 200 plus feet away from the concrete work, which we've received information from the blasting contractor that due to the parameters for blasting, the PPV limits, the specification on all that stuff, that being 200 plus feet away should be of no concern for the concrete installation to keep going. Obviously, we're blasting around other structures that exist currently. And we have asked the question to the design team just to review that kind of procedure from our seat to make sure they don't have any concerns or comments on that. But that is our plan. And our goal is to not delay any part of the schedule due to blasting taking longer than we had expected to. But we're working with the contractor, we're working with the owner and the design team. We discuss this in our OAC meetings every week, so that's the goal, and we're pushing to make that happen. So, just want to comment on that before checking out some pictures here. Are there any questions on any of the work going on? Start looking at pictures.
Is there blasting going on with the possible avenue access road?
Not yet. We have not got up there yet. We're still kind of in the upper middle of the site, I call it. So up by the Boswell site, that'll likely be the blasting work that'll happen while concrete's ongoing. That's kind of the farthest portion away from where the building sits.
Picture time.
Right, picture time. So this is an up close shot of that retaining wall I had spoke about. Couple courses in here. We have one row that's kind of buried underground, sitting on a footing. And at this current time, we have probably 10 more courses of this up. It's a pretty big wall already. And this is wall 1A. So I wanted to show you guys that rather than the rocks and the blasting mats and everything we've been looking at.
How's it drain?
There's drainage behind the wall. So there's a section of stone that runs down the backside of the wall, and then there's drainage at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a look from above, same wall. You can see how long that spans at this point. It ends pretty much right over here, and that's where wall 1B will start, coming back this way towards Golden Street entrance. You can see they have the geofabric to help stabilize their lifts, and they're backfilling and compacting as they go up.
I'm just curious, quick question. So do those retaining blocks get filled with rocks also, or are they solid?
Those are solid cast in place concrete blocks.
Oh, very good. All righty. Thank you.
Yep. So another angle at it, you can see it steps up as they go, and they put their lifts in. That's the end of the wall right there. So wall 1B starts somewhere in this area, comes back this way.
So at the top of that wall, is that going to be an athletic field or?
That's the parking area
Park?
over there. Yeah. Yep. The athletic field is a little farther up the hill there.
I know what this is.
Yeah, so this is a post blast. I guess, I don't know, pile of rock and dirt and blast mats. So you can see how everything just got tossed around after the blast.
trying to find some exciting pictures for you guys. It's really looking at the same thing every week, but that was a pretty big shot there. Another look at the site, removing material, rock, dirt, overburden. So this is all getting taken off site as we get our site to the building grades, rough grading. This is a shot above.
Where does the stuff go to when it goes off site? Where is it brought to?
So the rocks are all going to, I believe, Wyndham Material, and they're processing it for sale, I guess. And
Mhm.
same as the dirt.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Whatever we're not using.
Yeah, whatever's not used. This is not an import site, so we're only removing what they don't need.
Look at that.
So here's a drone shot from above. This is the Golden Street entrance. There's our trailers.
Mhm.
You just kind of see the massive operation we have going on here.
Mhm.
Got all types of excavators out there, loaders, haul trucks, 2 crushing machines. There's 3 drill rigs up there. Hard to see, but compared to what that site was a couple months ago,
So whereabouts is that retained?
that retaining wall is down over here in this area, heading down towards the wetlands over there.
That's
And
where,
you
the water retention instead of.
Oh, yes, there's gonna be retention on
Yeah.
there.
Is that correct? Yes.
Did you mention that there's going to be additional tree work before, or did I misunderstand? Like these trees in the lower left corner?
We approved a change order to do some additional tree work, but now
Right.
they're assessing the whole program after what's happened.
After that tree falling? Yeah, I had seen your email about regarding that. Thank
Right,
you.
and be talking to some of the residents where the trees are impacted and stuff. They're gonna figure out.
Up shot of the working act. Got 2 excavators here. There's a whole ram there. Rock crushing in here. So, you know, very active site, blasting mats. The
They
blasting.
find any gold in there? Oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
No unique discoveries though, huh?
Nothing in the site yet. Nope.
Dirt and rock.
Dirt and rock.
Lots of rock, yeah.
That's it for the pictures. Any questions on anything going on right now?
Any questions regarding Greenville?
That's it. Yeah, it's there's a lot going on there. A lot of equipment on site right now. That's just the baseline schedule update to go along with it, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. thanks. I gotta remember to bring the. I didn't bring my bag. Back at trips. And she goes, leave a note and you're off there. You're probably right. One in you go. Yeah. Put the mouse in front. Not a problem. It's always on the ground. All right, folks. Next order on the agenda is the consent agenda. There's quite a few things here.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
By Mark Kulos. Is there a second? Second, Peter. Michael, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just a couple quick things to bring to everyone's attention. This invoice for Norwich Public Utilities for $29.80. Invoice number is incorrect on the agenda. It should be 629-7836. In reference to invoice number 6 NPU invoice number 6241013, now $793.30. You'll notice that invoice is in the name of Lorero Contractors Inc. That invoice was not paid by Lorero Contractors Inc. Initially, when the permits were pulled for the temporary utility services for water and electricity, because the railroad contractors was the one that pulled the initial permit for those. Basically, what happened was NPU started billing them, billing cycle had already been completed. As a result, I wasn't able to get the billing moved into the city's name, so we're paying those on behalf of, not on behalf, we're paying those on behalf of the city for the city, but they are in the railroad contractor's name. There was no way within the billing system to get that revised, so those invoices are annotated. That's NPU, again, it's invoice 62411013 and 79330, NPU invoice, that one was for Stan, and NPU invoice 6251942 in the amount of $486.83. The only other thing, Mark, that I inadvertently left off an invoice for the commissioning agent, but it was included within the package. It's just not on the agenda as an action item. I can get that resubmitted next month.
If it's not a rush, let's do that, but if
Okay.
we need to get it paid, then
Okay.
we can amend it.
We can get that in.
All right.
All right, I'll amend my motion to incorporate the change to sit my over.
Well, it's already there.
The invoice amounts.
Yeah, the invoice amounts.
The only correction that you need to the agenda is.
So when you look at the documentation,
The
you'll see
invoice
the,
numbers.
you'll see the pays or the person that did the billing. All right. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, we'll start online first. Christine DeStazio.
You're muted.
Sorry, I
Christine.
forgot I had muted myself. Yes.
Thank you. Sheila Hayes,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy, Peter Proctor. Peter Gauthier. Yes. Joe Ho.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Unanimous of those present and voting. I didn't miss anything, right? Not this time. Okay. Mike, you're up. Discussion and possible action on items impacting project cost.
I'll leave this off here.
Mike, could you come up here?
Yeah, sorry. Since the last building committee meeting. Standing, PCO number 17 was approved by the, change order subcommittee. That was for thermally broken hollow metal frames in the amount of $6,445, for the Stanton project. For tonight, we have, we can discuss each of these as they come up. Standing PCO number 10, which was provisions to the routing of the sanitary line. We should probably just go through them one by one. So to kick this off, the sanitary line basically needed to be rerouted. So it was shown in a portion. The new sanitary line for the new building was shown under a portion of the existing Stanton Elementary School building. You can't install sanitary line under an existing building, so it had to be relocated. The amount for that was $1469. Standing PCO 11, Jim, Greg, you're gonna have to help me with the origin of this one. Add receptacles at music C100.
Yeah, didn't that come out of a meeting or something?
I believe someone from the school community had requested some additional outlets for charging something in the music room. It was part of PR3.
It's for the mini boards.
The what?
The mini board?
Okay, yeah. Do you want to do a motion on each one, Mark, and then, or do them all at the end?
Well, let's put this, we'll put them all together. We'll do them all at the end. And then we'll just do one motion,
All right.
assuming anybody pull anything else.
It was six receptacles. The receptacles, I think it's 3 receptacles per, it's 2 new dedicated circuits all the way back to an electrical panel. with 3 outlets on each circuit. Number 3 on the list, Stanton PCO 12, delete cord reels at ARC 123. Cord reels were originally part of the base design of the building. It was determined that the school didn't want the cord reels in the art room, and that's why you're seeing a credit. Stanton PCO 13 is through the utility excavation at the Stanton School when we were running water, electric and gas into the building. We ran into an unforeseen 36-inch concrete pipe that was no longer being used. That pipe had to be cut out and removed. That pipe was removed in its entirety, I believe, as part of this activity. So, you know, basically you don't want to leave pieces of unused pipe in the ground because eventually they collapse.
Is that the same pipe that they didn't know where it went and you were gonna have a camera go in it?
No, not the same pipe. That pipe was active, and that's the culvert that goes from the end of the Stanton property through the properties into Ford Brook.
Oh,
Basically, what this could have been is just an old abandoned version of that, but it's almost impossible to tell what it is.
okay.
Stanton PCO 14, Jim, you're gonna have to help me with this, revisions of treatment room A103F and mop sink revisions.
The mop sink provision has to do with the style of mop sink preferred by the district.
Okay.
And we're able to get that incorporated. The treatment, I believe, was yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah,
wash station.
yeah, it was
I
adding,
wash station.
adding an eye wash station to the treatment room because I think that's the only location where it'll be in the building. I should note too that the one that we just passed a few back, Stanley PCO 13 unforeseen RCP pipe, that $10,837 won't result in a contract increase for downs to be pulled from CM contingency, so you won't see a cost increase on that. The ones with stars are similar to that. The ones without stars result in a cost increase up or down. Duct band concrete encasement. This was for the electrical primary lines that ran down the driveway. Because they were in a driveway, they needed to be encased in concrete for NPU requirements. Just about every local utility, if you're putting a wire in the roadway, they want it encased in concrete for vehicle loading, so it doesn't get broken when things drive over it. Credit for flashing. Someone's gonna have to help me with this one. I don't. I reviewed it, but what's that?
At the low roof areas, we had a two-piece system with details simply reduced.
Okay. All right, so that was I think that was a result of reviewing the mock-up and seeing that we didn't need a second. Or didn't need this one flash. What?
Installation meeting.
Oh, okay, all right, great. And then 2 change orders for Greenville, PCO 7, shaft wall and fire dampers. Again, someone's gonna need to help me with this one.
It's just a different approach
Okay.
to the fire proofing. We
Yep.
had shaft wall initially, we're able to do it more efficiently.
Yep.
With the fire damper.
Yep. This PCO number 10 NPU requested electrical revisions, I believe is grounding rings for the electrical manholes that serve the primary end of the building. It's just not shown on the drawings. We can get grounding rings. This one had already previously been approved on stand. A lot of these PCOs are going to follow. You're going to get them a couple months early on stand and then a couple months later on Greenville.
All right, does anybody have any objections to any of the ones we've gone over? Hearing none, then I'll accept the motion to approve PCO number 10, number 11, number 12, number 13, number 14, number 15, number 18, and number 7, and number 10. The first 7 for Stanton and those 8 and 9 are for Greenville. Could I get a motion, please? Peter Doctor, is there a second? rather than doing, Cindy, any discussion?
Can we get these before the meeting?
He's.
Yeah, he did.
Yes. Last.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Real quick before we go off, just, everyone's. One more item that I want to discuss.
Hang on, I got a phone.
Oh, we're still in discussion. So
Yeah.
all told, my quick math, it's about 4,500 additional.
Yeah. Is it even that much because there's
I think
Well, with the-
21.
With the credits,
Yeah,
is about 8,200 in credits and
I reviewed them against the budget. There's no concern moving them. The owner contingency is healthy. And there won't be any issue.
about 11 grand. Choice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we don't know that we're gonna have some of these as we go along.
And the stars, the asterisks are coming.
The asterisks are coming out of a construction manager's contingency, so because they're coming out of the construction manager's contingency, there's no contract increase because that amount is held in the Downs' contract right now. And if we get close to expending all that, I'll let you know, but I don't anticipate that will happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a lot. All right, all in favor, Christine DeStazio,
Aye.
Sheila,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy. Peter? Peter got that. It's Bill Hall.
Yes.
Myself, yeah. All right, Mike.
Just one more item that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is a PCO that hasn't been formalized that's coming out for Greenville, and I just want to discuss procedurally how we want to handle this. So as part of the construction of that modular block retaining wall that's being built, we ran into some unsuitable soils under where wall 1B and 2 get built. And the unsuitable soils under wall 1B and 2, unfortunately, we weren't able to do any type of, borings or any type of test there to determine what the soil was because it was heavily overgrown with brush. So as Downs started excavating for the modular block retaining wall, they were able to get 1A in. When you get to 1B, the soil type changes as you're moving towards the main entrance gate of the project. We noticed that they noticed that a change was happening. The design team has been out to investigate. They produced a response to an RFI that directed Downs to price up 2 different options for the retention for how to take care of this unsuitable soil condition at the start of wall 2B or 1B and 2A. And there's 2 scenarios. One of the scenarios is to pour concrete and build the wall off of that. The other is to take it all the way down to native soil, because essentially what we believe is that when the old school was built, it plowed a bunch of material off over there that doesn't have structural bearing capacity to build the modular block retaining wall. The issue is that by the end of the week, Downs will more than likely be at a point where we don't have an answer on this PCO and how to handle this unsuitable soil.
I mean, they weren't terrible. They were good.
Christine, could you mute yourself if you're?
So sorry, I forgot my daughter just entered the house.
So I shouldn't say by the end of the week. It may take a little longer to try and get through this block wall, but they need to start digging for the next portion to continue the installation of the wall. Right now, Kyle, which one is option 1? The concrete's more expensive or less expensive?
Option 1 is to just extend the wall, the block.
Okay,
Modular blocks down to native soil.
down to native soil.
So once you get buried, providing bearing,
Mm-hmm.
come up on. That's
Okay. All right, so one of the options is to remove all the soil down to native. The other option is to install concrete.
It's like a concrete wall, basically.
Yeah, a concrete wall that then
For a concrete wall.
then the block gets built on.
How deep is how deep is the native?
It's about 14 feet. Each spot.
So,
It varies, but that's.
so the real issue here is that because of the dollar value, we can't bring this to PCO subcommittee.
Right.
Because of the value here, and because it's not formalized, we would have to wait all the way until October to get approval. Unless we either do a special meeting or this committee appoints this building committee subcommittee to make an approval in excess of the authorization amount of 50,000.
Do we have a ballpark, any?
Yeah, option one is, I don't even want to say that that would be the selected option for me, but it
Yeah.
would be because right now it's 10,000 less.
Yeah.
Option one is, and again, don't. These
Yeah, no,
numbers,
this
these
is-
numbers are not vetted, they
Yeah.
haven't been reviewed.
Understood.
I'm only bringing that to try and keep the work moving.
Understood.
$135,479. If we go the option two route, it's $146,780.
Option two is the.
To build the concrete wall.
Yeah,
Now, if I had to guess,
one is pour, two is block.
I have a feeling that these prices will come down once we get answers to the numerous questions that we're gonna have tomorrow, because these values are in quick glance, without hearing the contractor's side of the response to these, they seem high to us. So I think, as we move forward, we get questions answered,
Be that
the price will come down. I can tell you right now, what?
Less
than the
mailing.
That we did for the last race.
You guys are looking at me in both situations as if this was something that I caused, and
No,
in neither
no.
situation, I had no hand in. So
Oh,
I'm just the messenger,
I
and
get that.
the
I
adage
get
I've always heard is don't shoot the messenger.
No.
That's after the message has usually always already been
Yeah.
shot. Shouldn't joke about that.
So 135 for the native.
135 for the native. I don't anticipate it going up from 135. If you give us authorization to move,
All right, let's cut to the chase here. Does committee wish to authorize the subcommittee to make the decision? We're gonna keep things moving on this. In excess, well, let's put a figure on it. I didn't even want to put a figure on it. Let's,
not to exceed 140,000.
no, 150, yeah.
Okay. Well,
For this one.
if it goes up from this point,
Well, I'm just saying, I just don't want to have to call special this.
then you shoot the messenger.
So let's just say that, authorize the committee to make a decision up to 150,000 in one instance, the subcommittee. Did I get a motion? By Peter got there. Thank you.
I'll second.
Second by Greg. Any discussion on the motion? Yeah, I think we've covered it here. Obviously, there's a need. Okay.
I just have a
let's-
question. I'm sorry, Mark, this is
Yeah.
Sheila.
Yep.
I have a question because I sort
Sure.
of got lost. Is there a preference as to one or two? I know cost is a factor, but is there a preference?
Personally, I would want to see the reports as far as what's the best option as far as how it's gonna hold up over time. For me, that's what the issue is mainly. I'm more concerned, what the difference in cost is, doesn't matter. I just want an answer to that question. So whatever, I mean, the cost does matter, but if it's 10 grand, I'm not,
So the only structure on top of this would be the retaining wall
The only structure on top of, if you take option
of
one,
the bad soil.
the bad soil in option. The bad soil in option one would be removed all the way down to native bearing soil.
Yep.
In option two, it would also be removed all the way down to native soil. But instead of using pre-manufactured concrete blocks, we'd be building a
A
concrete
wall.
foundation wall.
As the foundation.
That
is
would-
option one the block or is option two?
Option one is the block.
Okay,
And option two is for the wall.
And the reason option two is more expensive is because you have to have
forms and all that.
concrete guys forming and pouring.
Rebar.
And above all of
Probably
this
cut the
is
14 feet. You're gonna have to
parking lot.
multiply
Yes.
by 7.
Yes.
from the entrance.
Yes,
Okay.
come in through the entrance,
Alright.
supporting part.
Does that answer your question, Sheila?
Well, yes, over trying to figure out all the talking over top. But so the real question though is not the cost. I mean, I know that's what the limitation is, but the the real question that you're gonna be asking, the cost is immaterial.
Well, I mean, it's an element, but
Which is
So
better.
who
yeah,
gets-
what's better for the,
Who gets to make the final decision on which option we use?
in this particular
Right,
case,
that's,
subcommittee do that.
Okay,
but Joe
Is it-
has his hand, right, that, but what we did is the motion is about cost, not substance,
Now,
not,
the motion is about allowing the subcommittee to make the decision.
well, that's not what, well, Joe has his hand up, but I'll
Fine.
come back because that's not the way I understood the motion.
Joe?
Thank you. So to Sheila's question, I'd like to extend that. What is the recommendation of CSG? What is the recommendation of the design team? And more importantly, what is the recommendation of our general contractor, our construction company, our CM? That's what I'd like to know.
Do we have one yet?
As far as I'm concerned, from CSG's standpoint, I think either option will work. I think in this case, whichever option is they're both going to support the wall the same way based on my understanding. And if that's the case, it would completely come to price for me.
Yeah, and then we were given two options for the reason of seeing which would be more cost effective.
Yes, yeah.
Both solutions are gonna work.
Yeah.
We priced out two, and see which one would be more cost effective. So.
But you don't have those final figures yet.
They haven't, they haven't.
Again, I'm not the, just Downs creates,
You don't have
Downs
the final
creates,
figures.
Those
Those
are-
are costs today.
Yeah.
But we just got them yesterday.
yeah, they're not reviewed and fully vetted.
Yeah, that's what.
The design team and ourselves are reviewing those. We literally got them at like two, again, I don't like bringing stuff to the committee with this little notice, but in this case, I was put backed into a corner because if we don't make a decision soon, the schedule would then suffer as a result of the not making a decision. That's the only reason it's here tonight. I would never bring it unvetted.
the delay in schedule.
Yeah.
more
just-
than-
Because the reason that I brought it was because I knew that the value was gonna be in excess of the subcommittee. And I just wanted to find out if there was a way that we would be able to get through this without having a special meeting.
Joe DeLucia.
Well, Jim I thought it was Jim. It's hard to see all the way down the end of the table. Somebody else had their hand up down there aside before Down spoke.
Hi, Joe, thank you. I just wanted to offer that both designs were offered by SLR, who is the engineer of record for it. They feel either works equally. They were looking for which would be more efficient from a cost standpoint.
Okay, thank you for that. So then my next question would be, if I'm understanding the location correctly, this is where approximately in the area where wall 1B ends and wall 2A begins, right? Is that what you said, Mike?
And one A and one B begins.
One A ends and one B begins. So
And
Joe, if you're at the Greenville entrance gate and you
Yep.
take a left, it's
Yep.
right along that property line, that the house is below the site level. There's the fire hydrant on the corner and it basically runs from midway down that property line towards the driveway gate.
So, and if we went with option 2, that would just be a parged concrete wall instead of having
We
that
wouldn't,
block look on it,
we
right?
wouldn't, so if you recall at the beginning of the discussion, Joe, basically the root of the issue is that there's 14 feet approximately of unsuitable soil before we reach native structural bearing soil. So in the case of the concrete wall option, a concrete wall would be formed, poured, and cast. And then once it hit essentially where you would begin to see it or a couple feet below grade, the modular block wall would start coming up. So you wouldn't see the concrete wall below. In the case of the modular block, if we went with the modular block option, the modular 14 extra feet of modular block would be installed all the way to bearing soil and not concrete.
So the final look will be the same. It'll be modular block that's visible. It's just the base. So option one
yes.
is modular block base. Option two is concrete wall base.
I believe that the reason that the two options were even entertained was more than likely because the design firm felt that by pouring concrete, there may be savings versus getting precast block that go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
The outcome of this is that it actually ended up being the exact opposite of what.
Yeah, but time is money. You also have to account for the curing time of the concrete. You can't immediately put the block on top of wet concrete. It's gotta cure.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. In essence, that.
So if it's adds 3 to, I don't know how long that amount of concrete would take to cure.
28 days.
So that would add another month before that wall could essentially be.
Not necessarily, because concrete can hit strength after 7 days in certain instances.
Yeah.
Potentially.
You're.
Yeah,
Like,
I digress.
7 days, you could probably start with water on top of it. We would have a test break from or verify if suitable to build on. But yeah, usually after 7 days, you can start. The concrete reaches enough strength, so.
All right. But it would probably 14 feet of concrete, like Mark had said, would take multiple pours most likely.
Most likely.
And you have to have a cure time between each pour too, right?
Yeah, it's not cure time yet.
So the concrete block, you just shove the precast block, you just put in and you just keep
Yeah, I
going.
mean, I think ultimately. It probably becomes a discussion of cost versus, there's no aesthetic difference. There should be no durability difference. It's the same concrete block wall that we're building everywhere else on the site. It's just that instead of it being a concrete cast in place footing wall, we're just stacking blocks up like we're currently doing.
Right. But then you've also got to figure in weather too. I mean, we're in a dry stretch of weather. Suppose we have 3 weeks of rain.
Yeah, I mean, if in either instance, I guess in that example, the concrete block is better because you're not worried about weather. Set concrete block into a 14-foot hole and just keep building.
That can be a motion.
Yeah, we have a motion allowing the subcommittee to make the call on this. So, any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Christine DeStazio,
Yes.
Sheila,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy, Peter,
Yes.
Bill, yes, me, yes, unanimous. All right. The subcommittee will make the call and report back at the next meeting.
I will get an invite out with something to see right out.
As soon as we have vetted numbers.
Final.
All right, number 8, approval of final plans and specifications and cost estimate for state project 104-10120N, Uncas Elementary, phase 1 of 3.
I'll take the lead on this one. So there are some files that we have on my flash drive now. That,
All right, which one's your flash drive? I only got.
there's two that are alike. It's funny, I was gonna write ONG on. I didn't.
Probably would have been a good idea.
So as earlier I mentioned, we developed our cost estimate.
Is this it?
Our
That's
front-
the.
Nope. So the process began with DRA, working with CES, the MEP engineer on our project. With the folder that says, and says the other one.
All right, what do we want, project?
So I'm just gonna
Pre-purchasing drawing set?
figure out the drawing would be the first one to show. just to give you an understanding of what CES put together, this is it. Okay, we got a cover page. We have. All of 3 pages to this document set. One, again, is a one-line drawing, electrical one-line drawings you're familiar with. They tell us how the power gets distributed through the building. And then the last drawing is a panel schedule. So we have a cover page. Moving ahead to the next page, this is our one-line drawing. You can see your main switchboard here as part of this purchase package. Numerous specialty panels are identified to be included in this package. And then the next page just tells us what those panels and the circuits they contain. Again, that's CES's part. In addition to the drawing set, they produce their technical specifications for the main switchgear, for sub panels, for automatic transfer switches, and the generator. Okay, and that would be the other file. So what we do when we put a package together is I have to create a front end. You guys have all been through this before. I don't mean to be redundant, but it's the bid documents that are required in order to publicly bid a set of a project. So that's my effort in the process in concert with DRA's effort, who puts together their technical specifications that essentially touch on the quality and the process of submittals through the process. So again, this is the spec book. This would be a single spec book. It's about 250 pages long. Go past the signature page. That's Mike's role in obtaining local authorities. Specification table of contents, mostly Division 0 are bidding work. And then mostly Division 1, mostly DRA, but some items like the summary of work, the allowances, general administration, things that I produced for that set of documents. And then it rolls into each one of those specification sections. So that's what your bid document set looks like. Again, next step is Mike's going to take it around for local authority approval. Really not much for, say, an ADA consultant to look at these documents, but it is required by OGA in order to ensure grant reimbursement. So there's my sample invitation to bid. Items highlighted in yellow are still being developed, like an email address for where the bids go locally, when the bid due date will actually be. Those will come out after we meet with OGA and OGA tells us we're okay to go to bid. Both packages are very much the same for Uncas and Moriarty. There is a slight difference in the panels on the 2 projects. So what we do from that set of bid documents is we go to our estimating team. They are, again, this is just so you know what the highlight is. Mike and I are confirming with purchasing here in Norwich whether they want a 10% bid bond, which is standard for us, but I like to always confirm. And there's a myriad of these little yellow highlights. Okay, so then it has to ask Mark that you actually go back in and pull up another document, which is the 2 estimates. So our estimating team have gone through the documents and put an estimate value on that. And what this committee is going to be asked to make motion on this evening. So if we go out of that folder.
Yeah, item meeting now needs to be read and voted on for both process. The meeting is looking at the proposal committee voting on the approval plan specifications process.
So what do you need?
Just a motion, read it to be read the exact right to the agenda.
So the approval, okay.
Yeah.
Either one, you can check here.
The bottom 2?
Yep, pretty much the same. So what we did is
where is this switchgear located? Is it inside the building, outside?
inside, in the main electrical room.
Okay.
So typical to when we develop your estimate at the design development stage, we have now a standalone estimate for what is a construction document stage. This is your construction document or actual set of documents that goes out to the street for bid. Here is the breakdown of the cost. Again, diesel fuel generator is one item, and electrical gear is the second item. Oh, I see, Mark, you're putting it up on the screen for all to see. Okay. So as you can see, this must be Moriarty because the value associated is just under $1 million. Again, same breakdown, same process that we utilized through the course of the DD estimate stage. We have no design contingency because we're at CDs. We have a couple of months before we go to bid, so there's a small escalation. We carry our standard CM contingency fee, CM fee, P&P bond insurance. We use the prorated architectural design value. Again, it's all part of the bigger picture, and it brings you down to the bottom line. So as mentioned, Moriarty is slightly under $1 million. Uncas is slightly over. It's about 25,000 over the $1 million benchmark.
Oh, what's the average that they're looking
Memory serves me correctly, it's a 2,500 amp service. But we could pull it right from the one line drawing. Yep, there's the Uncas.
1,003,000.
Yep. So again, this gets us out on the street. This gets a package, which is running right now, estimated at about a 50-week lead time. For me, I'm putting this gear into the installation of your building just around Christmas of next year. So I'm trying to align that with, with the build schedule, procurement for build schedule.
All right, take this down.
Okay, make a motion that we approve.
Let's, hang on a second, just to mark, I just wanna, in this scenario, I do wanna do them separately.
Okay, so as I say, we're jumping all around, so
Right.
we're gonna do Uncas and then we're
We
already
do,
separate motions.
yeah, we'll do 8, yeah,
Okay.
for Uncas, and then,
So you're all-
yeah. I'll check, oh, yeah, for a change, right? So, go figure. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion for approval of final plans, specifications and cost estimate for state project number 104-0120N, Uncas Elementary School, phase 1 of 3.
Is there a second? So moved. Second by Bill Hull. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Christine DeStazio,
Yes.
Sheila Hayes,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy, Peter Parker, said yes. Peter Blair, Bill Hull.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Thank you. Number 9, approval of final plan specification cost estimates for state project number 104-0121 John M. Moriarty Elementary School, phase 1 to 3.
So moved.
So moved by Mark Poulos. Is there a second?
Christine DeStacio, second.
I got a second.
Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Christine,
Yes.
Sheila,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy, Peter Parker, yes, Peter Blair.
Yes.
Yes, Bill Hall.
Yes.
Myself, yes, and we're gonna have you guys sit. Peter. So,
And Pumpkin.
okay. All right, motion approved unanimously, Vice President vote. All right, I think Mike already basically updated us on the website issues right now, they're in process.
Yeah.
So we don't need to touch on that. Is there anything else we need to bring up before the committee before we adjourn? Is anyone aware of anything? Here, Joe DeLucia?
Thank you very much. I'd like to put a motion on the floor that we direct CSG to investigate the cost of the topping off ceremony happening after normal construction hours to facilitate as much participation by the committee members as possible.
I don't know if we need a motion on that.
What would be the latest? So there's gonna be two issues to play here, right? First is gonna be daylight. we're gonna erect the beam to maybe.
Can you hear him, Joe?
I cannot.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. So Joe, there's just gonna be
Well,
issues here too, that I'm just thinking of. You know, one of the items is gonna be that it's more than likely gonna come in a few weeks. I don't know when the time change is, but, you know, it would have to be during daylight hours that we erect the beam, right?
Right.
First Sunday in November.
Okay, so then I guess the time change wouldn't happen, but we're gonna lose daylight over the next couple of times up to then. So I'll certainly look at getting an off hours price to do it afterwards, but what would be the earliest time that I would be looking for to start the ceremony?
You're asking, are you asking, is that for me or is that for the group?
You, when would you wanna, what time would you wanna do the ceremony?
I would say 5.
Okay,
It's,
yeah,
they move the beam now,
can they move?
can they install
They more than certainly should be able to,
it? 'Cause
Yeah.
then it's gonna be dark. say,
well,
6
that,
o'clock.
yeah, that was part of the,
How long does it take to install a beam?
not really long, it's just literally, it's more of a show than anything, the beam gets hoisted, the local steel, local puts their flag on it, you know, and then it gets hoisted, everyone cheers and that's set in and bolted in, so.
If, could you come up with a cost, what it's gonna,
Yep, I will make the request and ask the question.
is that okay, Joe? I don't think, I just didn't think we need a motion. for that.
What I'll do, Joe, is I'll ask them what it would cost for them to stay from normal working hours, an extra 1.5 hours, so that, well, 2.5 hours till 6 o'clock to get the beam installed, so we could do the ceremony.
That's, if the chair doesn't have a problem with that, neither do I.
No problem.
When does the sun set though, in another month?
About 6
I
o'clock. I
need
would
my
say.
almanac.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I'm just, like I said, concerned about the darkness.
It's about 7 now.
All right, well, we'll assess what needs to be done and Mike will come back to us. I think a group email will be in order for that one.
Yep.
All right, anything else? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn will be in order. Greg, Malatsi. Second by Cindy. All in favor, Christine,
Aye.
Sheila,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy, Peter, Bill.
Yes.
Me, yes. We stand adjourned at 8:44 PM.